it's really easy to send value, similar to how you can send a tweet or how you can send anything else. So for a lot of people, this was weird. Like, can I actually just receive $5 from this random guy on Twitter? Yeah. Like, what? How? When? How did
and
this
I can
happen?
just create a wallet myself. Nobody checks on me, and nobody collects my passport.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a new
It wasn't new. It was a paradigm shift. And, you know, I realized that in my time in Coinify and having worked in this space. But now, you know, it's a decade after, and there's so much that has happened in this space that the conversation is not about Bitcoin anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. Bitcoin is interesting. Don't get me wrong. It's fascinating. Still to this day. And I think it has a future also. However, the naive mindset that the crypto enthusiast had is no longer here. Like, we've learned and realized a lot of things. So, for example, things like people are not as tech savvy as we might expect they are.
Right.
My mom and dad and sister and family is not going to use Bitcoin in its core and raw format.
Yeah.
So I think that now we're in a time where there's so many different things happening, but most importantly, that the real world of regulation and the real world of finance and real live exchange services and liquidity providers and all these financial entities are not starting, but have gradually realized over the last few years that this is something they need to enter.
Right.
And we're seeing the growth of concepts like securitization of assets, where you have real life assets like gold and silver or electricity or represented as an IOU on a blockchain.
Yeah.
Well, that means that you now have a token that you can transfer, like you can transfer Bitcoin or Ether or whatever you want. You can transfer this without the barriers that are usually in place to transfer those kinds of objects. So if you want to trade energy, well, there are processes for that with plenty of middlemen. If you want to trade stocks, there's plenty of processes and plenty of middlemen. And these are the barriers and structures that are being broken down by enabling the movement of actual traditional assets. Forget the world of crypto for a second, but actual assets using an open source technology. Cryptocurrencies in their raw format are like the gasoline that runs the engine. It's necessary, it's needed. You need Ether to purchase gas and pay the miners and run the system.
Network, yeah.
But that does not mean that systems being built upon the blockchains need to even understand and know that a blockchain is involved, that gas is involved. Right. So we are moving into a world of Facebook Libra, of JP Morgan coin, of Euro chain, of Fed coin, of Chinese government central bank money on the blockchain. We're moving into the world of securitization of actual assets and regulated securities exchanges. And my company, ARYZE, which I created after being with Coinify for some time, and I ended up running their innovation lab where we were building a bunch of cool prototypes and proof of concepts on different stuff using blockchain and programmable money. But we could never reach the phase of implementation, because as soon as we wanted to implement it in the real world, using, partners with NGOs or governments or different use cases, we're focusing on, remittances or salary payments to third world countries and whatnot. It was always very difficult to reach the implementation phase because of the price volatility, because of the fact that Bitcoin is intangible, is difficult to use, and is not understood by regulators, paired with a bunch of, terrorism, a bunch of drug money, a bunch of fake news, a bunch of whatever you may put in that pot of Bitcoin. So that pot is kind of being fragmented now, and new things are coming to exist. And the company